Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the tripleh.com, and we would be continuing making our contact form. So I have made a couple of changes to my style sheet, or I won't say changes. I've just added some styling to our errors and to our success messages. So if you guys will notice, I have these three new styles in my style sheet. So I have given a width to the text area and some height, and to my error I have given it some background with an image, border and a border radius, some color and margin top, like some very basic kind of a styling. So if I'll go back to my index file, and if I say span class to error, let me write something inside it. Let's say required. Come back and refresh. This is how it looks. Okay, and if I'll provide it like a class of success, it will look a bit different, green color and with a check mark sign. Okay, this is how it looks. So for now, we won't be adding any classes, or we won't be providing anything. We will be doing it with jQuery. So the next thing we need to do is create a jQuery file. So I will be going to my JS folder, and we will be creating a new file with the name of validate.js. Okay, and we would be starting a dollar function to make sure that once the DOM is ready, then only perform any functions. So then I'm going to say alert sub to something blah blah blah, just to make sure that we are able to include this file properly. So come back to our index file, and out here on the top in the head section, we need to include our JS file. And guys, always make sure that you have the jQuery library on the top, and then you are including any jQuery files, otherwise it will not work for you. So I will be saying js/validate.js. Okay, come back, refresh, and it says, that alert we created. So I'm gonna take it off. Guys, next thing we need to do is we need to create a couple of variables of the fields we have in our contact form. So we need to create a variable for name, email, subject, comments, and for captcha. So what I would be doing is I would be using Firebug to find their IDs. So for the name, I'm gonna say on the top var name would be equals to $ID name. Okay, then var email will be equals to $ID email, and var subject equals to subject. And in the same way, we would be doing it for the text area and for our captcha. So I would be saying for comments area, probably comments would be ID comments, and for captcha would be equals to $ID captcha. Okay, guys. Now, next thing we need to do is we need to create a couple of functions in order to validate them. The reason we are creating functions so that we can use them like for a lot of times, actually for the reusability. So let me create functions first, then I will tell you how we can reuse them. So very first, I'm going to create a function by writing function here. Then would be the function name, and it would be validate name. Okay, and I would be saying if name. The reason I'm using name here because we created a variable on the top. If you people want, you cannot like if you don't want to create variables, then you will have to do something like this ID name. Okay, so I just want to keep it a bit neat and clean. That is the reason I created the variables. It would be if name dot val. Val would be the actual value inside these fields. Okay, dot length. This would be the length of the value inside this particular field. Okay, if this is equals to no, that means there is nothing inside this particular field. Then I'm going to say dollar, not actually dollar, I'm going to say name dot parent. Okay, dev dot find span dot add class error. Okay, and one more thing would be dot HTML to require. So let me tell you what I'm doing with this particular thing. What I'm saying is the particular field we are on. So the name would be this particular field. Okay, I'm gonna say go ahead and find your parent div. That would be the div class form element. Okay, here, and the find function will let you find all the child elements inside a parent. So for this div, the parent span would be the one just beside this name. Okay, so it's gonna find that particular span, it's gonna add the class error to that span only, and it's gonna change its HTML to require. Next thing we need to make sure is remove class success. The reason I'm doing this is okay, first take it off and then I will show you why I'm doing that. Then I'm gonna say return to false, else if it's perfectly fine, like there are no errors, then go ahead and add class success, and here it says valid. Okay, guys, and now we need to run this function. So we can run it with a couple of ways. So the very first would be, I'm going to say name.kia. Okay, and I'm going to say validate name. Come back, refresh the page. On that. So see here it says valid. If I'm going to take it off, see it says required, but still it's in green color. Why? The reason is that, guys, first we added the class success because this if was not true. I just give it a space, so the length was not equal to null. So this if was not true. That is the reason this function followed else, and it added the class success to it. Now, if we are going back, we already have the class success. So we will have to remove it first. So I'm going to say remove class success. So anytime you're coming, remove the class success and add class error. And the same goes to this one. I'm going to say remove class error. Okay, now it will work perfectly fine. So if I'm going to write something, it's going to add this. If I'm going to take everything off, it's going to say required with an alert kind of image. And the same thing we can do for every single field. So I'm going to copy it from here. I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to say validate. First we would be validating subject. Okay. Then I'm going to say f subject, copy it, paste it here, paste it here, paste it here, and here. Okay. Next we would be doing it for comments, copy it, paste it. I'm gonna say validate comments. Okay, there would be comments, and paste it here, paste it here, paste it here, paste it here. Okay, guys, come back and refresh it. So go up. Now we're gonna add these functions to subject.keyup and to comments.keyup. Guys, keyup actually means anytime you're gonna press a key, it will run this function. So if you're gonna press a key for 100 times, it's gonna run this function for 100 times. So that is the reason we are able to validate it while they are running. So then I'm gonna say comments.keyup would be validate comments. Okay, so if I'm gonna come and refresh, so if I'll write something, it works perfectly fine. If I'll take it away, it don't work fine. Okay, see, that means we are able to validate it while the person is writing it. And the guys, a very important thing is make sure once it's valid, you are returning true, because every single function do return something, and we cannot return directly anything from this function. If I'm gonna say function validate subject, and out here if I'll say return true, so every time it will return true no matter what. So what we have to do is we will have to write some conditions, or I would say statements inside it, and those statements will decide when this function will return true or when it will return false. And that's very important. If you're going to take these return true and false away, then it would be good for nothing. Okay, that's done. The next thing we need to do is we need to write the function for our email, but it would be a bit different. We have to make sure that every time a person is writing an email, it needs to be a validated email, like they're using that kind of a pattern with an @some and .com. So the very best way to do that is to use jQuery widgets. Guys, the widgets are actually a kind of a pattern that matches to the email, and then you can run a test in order to make sure that what the person is entering matches to the one inside the widget. So I'm going to show you that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write function validate email. Okay, first I have a regex out here, so I'm going to copy it and paste it here. Guys, if I'll say, the reason I'm copying and pasting it because, like, in order to save some time, that won't be true. The reason I'm copying and pasting it because I don't remember what it is exactly. So you people can go to Google, you can search about jQuery email regex, you will get a lot of them there, and then you can paste it to your project or to your file, and you will be ready to use. Next thing we need is not exactly what I'm gonna say e would be equals to email.well. Okay. Next thing is first we need to make sure that email field is not empty. So I'm gonna say if e.length. The reason we are using only length here because e is actually equals to email.well. If e.length is equals to null, that means there is nothing inside it. Then we're gonna copy this from here and paste it here. So I'm gonna say email email.parent email like this. Then I'm gonna say else if regex is the one we created on the top. Test is a jQuery function that we are running a test on which field, on e. That would be our email.well. Okay, if the person is able to clear this particular test, that means they're passed, man. So I'm gonna say add class success, remove class error. This would be valid. This would be returning to true. Else, I'm gonna copy this and paste this here. And instead of required, I'm gonna say not a valid email. Okay, so come back, but before we need to run this function, so I'm gonna say email dot captcha. That would be validate email. Okay, so come back, refresh it. Okay guys, so this would be validated because we already have some blah 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 here. Okay, it's validated. For the email it says required. If I'm gonna enter some blah blah blah, it says not a valid email, but if I'm gonna enter my email, it says it's valid, dude. Then it says some hey, and for comments it says that. Okay guys, now there are a couple of other ways to run these functions. So the one we are using right now is a keyup function. If you people want, you can also add a blur to it. So I'm gonna say blur, blur. Okay, like this. So anytime a person gonna leave your field, it will validate it too. So the way I did for like my email, it says required, and the last time I did it like this, but it was not validated. I have to go back and press a key. So the blur will take care of it. If you have any kind of a drop-down fields, then you can stick with a mouse down or a mouse up function. So obviously because the person would be using a mouse to select the drop-downs. So for that you can stick with mouse up or mouse down, and see guys how easy it is. You created only one function, you are using it for 2 times, you can use it for 20 times as well, or even more than that. So you don't have to write it every time. Just create a function and run it the way you want it. Okay guys, Next thing, we need to create a captcha. For that, I would be going to jQuery UI. You can go to the download section, and we will be downloading a slider. So if you people don't know which all files or libraries you need to download, so you can deselect all components, and just go ahead and find this slider, click on it. It will select all the required files for you. So I'm gonna hit download. Okay, save it. It's done. Open containing folder. Okay, I'm gonna take it from here. I'm gonna close it. Close this. And inside my contact folder, I'm gonna create, kind of a blah 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 folder. Paste it here, and then I'm gonna extract here. Okay. So I'm gonna take the zip file off. We don't need the index file, so we're gonna take that off as well. Plus, we don't need a development bundle. Guys, next thing, just go ahead and cut this UI likeness and go and paste it to your CSS file, and get both jQuery files from here and paste it to your jQuery, to your JS folder. Okay guys, next thing we will be doing is, right now the current library we are using is jQuery 1.3.2, but we would be using some advanced function of this particular slider, so we would be requiring a higher version of jQuery. So I'm going to copy this from here. I'm going to say js/jQuery 1.6.2, the one we have inside our JS folder. Okay, plus we need to give the reference to the UI file that they gave to us. So I'm going to copy that. Okay, paste it here. Copy it once again, like this. And the next thing would be the reference to their CSS file. So I'm going to say UI likeness would be their folder name. So we're going to paste that here. Then this style sheet name, that would be UI likeness something something something. That's CSS. So come back. Till now, you people won't see anything. So it's exactly the same it needs to be. Okay, guys. Next thing is inside it, out here on the very bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say $ID captcha. That is the ID of our div. Okay. Dot slider. That means provide a slider to it. That's all. So if you will come back, you will find a slider here. Okay, that you can slide and play with. Now guys, the next thing is we need to write a couple of functions inside it. So I'm gonna say put the minimum to 0 and the maximum to, let's say, 100. Okay, and then we need to run a function. So I close it down. So 1 second, let me open it. I'm gonna go to demos and documentation, and I'm gonna find out the slider here. So guys, if you will come out here inside the events, you can find a lot of events that you can write. You can write a create, a start, slide, change, and a stop event. So the one we would be using is a slide event. So you can see how to run it, but I'm going to show you that as well. So I'm going to say slide will be function. Every time a person is sliding it, run a function. We need to pass these parameters. Is it fine or not? I believe so. Okay. Why it's coming in green color? That's fine. Okay, anyways, let it be the way it is. If you have any errors, we can solve them later. Next thing I'm gonna say, if UI.value is equals to or probably greater than or equals to 90, alert some blah blah blah. Okay, just for the testing purposes. So come back to our Ajax form. We're gonna refresh it. Okay, it's done. I'm gonna slide it. See, the moment it reached 90, it's alert something. Now you people would be saying, why you are doing it on 90? We want the person to drag it to the end. Guys, don't worry, we're gonna style it a bit, then I'm gonna tell you the reason why I'm doing it. Okay, guys, next thing we need to do is provide some styling to our ID captcha. So out here, I'm gonna say the captcha. First thing, we need to provide it a background. Let me tell you guys what we would be doing with it. We won't be using this ugly slider, probably. I would be styling it and creating the way I want it. So come back. Inside my images folder, I have these two images and these locks out here. So what I would be doing is I would be creating an arrow. Every time they're gonna drag an arrow towards the lock, it's gonna open the lock for them and it's gonna say valid. Okay. So what we need is we need a lock there. So I'm gonna say is background URL would be equals to my images folder. Okay, then the name of the image. So I'm gonna copy and paste it here. Then it would be no repeat. We don't want an image to repeat again and again. We just want one lock and keep it on the right and top. Okay, and the background, that way it would be trans. Okay, then we need to provide it some padding. Let's say padding to 9 pixels or 10 pixels. Come back, refresh. Okay, guys, this is what we have. Then I'm gonna change its what width actually to 50%. Let's say 48%. So refresh it again. So here we have our captcha, and I believe instead of transparent, we can probably provide it a white color, so it should look different. So out here we have our captcha. Okay. Now we need to take care of this particular button. We need to provide an image, and we need to take off the button they gave to us. For that, we need to open their file. I will be going back to CSS, UL lightness, and their jQuery file. And this time we would be using Firebug because we don't know the classes and the IPs they provided to this particular button. So come down. Out here, there is an image. So if I'm going to disable this image, it will take it off. So I'm going to copy it from here. Okay. And I'm going to paste it here. So we don't need any border because we are using our own image. So take it away. For the background, we need these two images. So very first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them away from here, and I'm going to paste them to their images folder. So by default, we need this gray color one. Okay, I believe that's fine. Come back and refresh. Now we see something like this, but it's not looking the way we want it. So I'm going to say width to 20 pixels. Increase it. Keep it to 32. Same goes to height. Okay, now it's looking perfectly fine like a round. Okay. Guys, next thing is we need to provide it some margin from the left. So it's looking perfectly fine. And for the top, I'm going to say 1 pixel. Or for the top, it would be 0 pixels. So very first, I'm going to look for the class that is UI slider and paste it here. It says width, let's say 32 pixels, height to 32 pixels. Okay, the next thing we need to do is find for this particular class. Paste it here where it says top, say 0, and margin left, say 0. Okay, come back, refresh. It's looking perfectly fine. Okay, but there is a problem. Every time we are hovering over it, it's actually taking our image off and it's showing something else. So we need to take care of hover thing as well. So first I'm gonna look for this class. Now, somewhere near we're gonna find out. Yes, so I believe this would be the active one. So I'm gonna take this away. I'm gonna take these borders away, and for the image, I'm gonna place a green one. So every time they are hovering over it, they will find a green image, not the gray one. Okay, so copy it, paste it here, and the next thing we need is for the hover state. Uh, so I'm not sure which one would be for the hover. Okay, I believe this would be the one. So I'm gonna copy it, paste this here, and I'm gonna take the borders off. So come back, refresh the page. Okay, no, this is not the one. If I'm dragging it, it's actually giving me the green image, but not on the hover. So we need to find out the right hover image we probably need. So the best thing is I'm gonna look for hover like this. Oh my gosh, there are a lot of hovers out here. Which is the actual one? UI content, class UI icon, no. So on hover, it has a class of UI state hover. I believe this is the one. So let's paste our image here and refresh again. Let's see if that fits. No, this is not the one. So once again, it says edit a class UI corner of UI state hover. So UI state hover. This is the one only I can find. I cannot see anyone else. UI slider handle, UI state default, UI corner, and the very last it says UI state. So guys, just provide me a quick moment. I'm gonna find out which particular class it is, and I'm gonna let you know as well. Okay, so I'm gonna pause the video first. Okay, guys, I'm back. I actually found it. It's on line number 71. So you can go and search for line number 71 and change the image there and take the border off. So if you will hover over it, it will change it to green. Okay, every time we are reaching to the lot, it says some blah blah blah, and instead of loading something, we can actually hide this particular image and we can change its color to green. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the alert off. I'm gonna say daughter. One second. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say daughter ID captcha dot parent. Okay, div define span dot add class success. Okay, and change its HTML to valid. Okay, and else, or probably we don't need to write an else here. Okay, we can write. Now guys, the next thing is we can directly we cannot validate this captcha thing. So what we're gonna do is, if you people notice, inside our index file I have created a hidden field. Okay, so every time they're gonna pass our captcha test, what we're gonna do is we're gonna enter some value to this particular field. So I'm gonna say dollar ID captcha test dot value, that would be var, is equals to valid. Okay, so at the time of submitting the form, we can actually make a check if this field have a valid a value inside it, then it's fine. Otherwise, we're gonna let them know, hey dude, your captcha test is not successful. Okay. Else I can say captcha test dot val be equal to not valid. Okay. Okay, guys. And next thing we need to do is every time we are dragging it towards the lock, we're gonna just hide this particular error away. Otherwise, they will keep on playing with it. Okay. So uh, I'm gonna copy this class from here. It's a dollar class, and we can only work on any one of them. So I'm gonna say dollar class slider handle dot hide. Okay, and the next thing is we need to change the color of this lock to actually green. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go to lock where it says where it shows actually gray image. If you're gonna write background position to, let's say, -20 pixels, actually keep on increasing there. But it's not showing up. Okay, actually we have to play with some background position in order to make sure that so I believe we need to make sure with the right, come back and refresh. What exactly we need to make sure is that it is on the right first, that we are not taking its actual position of someone's position right. Now I believe it will work now. 20 pixels. Decrease it. Okay, we need to make it to right -32. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my validate.js, and here I'm gonna say dollar the captcha dot css. Okay, background position and it will be right -32. I believe that's all we need. Come back and let's see if our captcha is working for 55 or not. So I'm gonna drag it. It says valid, but it's saying here on the bottom. That's a problem, guys. Let me check out why. We need it, just next to it. So probably first decrease the width of it. So display inline. Actually, gonna take it away. Inline block. Yep, that's what we need. So we're gonna change the display to inline block. That will make sure that this wallet thing is coming just next to it. So back to the style sheet. Out here on the bottom, I'm gonna say display inline block. Okay, every time they're gonna validate it, it would be validated. But now the next thing we have to make sure is that we are running all these functions at the time they are hitting the submit button. Otherwise they're gonna hit the submit button and they're gonna submit the form without even validating it. But I believe this video is already getting very lengthy, so I'm gonna take care of that. Next time we're gonna write the Ajax to submit all the requests to the server and give them a success or error message depending upon that. So till that time, goodbye.